As a kid, I'm adopted. My dad was a raging, violent, emotionally violent, sometimes physical alcoholic. And the most feared words in our house were my mom. He was 6'5", huge, 250-pound. My mom was a little 98-pound sweetheart. And the most feared words in my house were, "Your father's home." Yeah, it was my job to run around, close the windows, and because there's screaming and yelling about to happen. 30 years later, I was rushed to the emergency with severe cramping, and they came out, couldn't figure it out for a week or so, and they finally said, "Oh, you poor guy, you've been living with Crohn's all your life. Why didn't you tell us?" And I went, "With what?" And they said, "Crohn's." And I said, "I don't know what that is." And they said, "You've got Crohn's so severe, your guts, that we're wondering why you didn't tell us." And I said, "I didn't know what it was." What do you mean? Yeah, I'd go through cramps and things, but I never enough to, So turns out for the next 30 years, every 5 years, my body would just completely break down. My wife, Mary, bless her soul, we had a look. I would go through cramps for a week or two. From here to here, cramp me right up, and I'd fall on the floor, breath, and it would do that for a minute, off a minute, on for a minute, off for a minute, and it would go for maybe 3 days like that. So no food, no sleep, no anything. And Mary and I have a look. I'd just shoot her a look, and it's like she'd run around, grab my pajamas. She knows this is an emergency. So off to emergency. Within a half hour to an hour, I'm in emergency. They're cutting me open, taking out the bad part, doing the new, and so I'd be in the hospital for a good month. Every 5 years, 30 years. That would happen. It makes it hard for your career, So last November and December, vomiting, involuntary diarrhea. I was losing weight. Within 6 weeks, I went from 160 pounds to 116. And I just looked at her, and it's like, and I prayed for that month and a half to die. I just prayed. And I have to go back the 30 years thing. It was so bad, I would writhe on the floor, just going, I just want to die. I pray to die. So these 2 months, I was curled up fetal position in bed, and I just prayed to die. And I thought, I told the team this, and it's like, I can't believe I was saying it in public, but I'll say it because it's going to help someone. My backup plan was, at least I've got suicide. The pain is so much. I've at least got suicide. That's my, and that was, people go, "Oh, how dare you? How could you think of that?" And that was solace to me. At least I've got this, I can kill myself.
Just be careful about that.
I realized I forgot. So I realized that's my backup plan, is like I've always got that in my back pocket, and I can always just kill myself. So I had a rough 2 months, ended up in hospital in January, and I was in for the month. I had PICC tubes. I had 2 of those poles with 8 bags on them to keep me alive. I was bones. And the doctor said, you're probably not going to be leaving the hospital. And I knew that because 2 years ago, I had an operation, emergency. When I came out of it, a nurse, my voice was like this. And I kept asking them, why? A nurse quietly said, "They lost you on the table." And I'm thinking, oh, again. So I've died many times. And so I was in, and when I was going to the hospital, Mary was racing me there. We said our goodbyes in the hospital, in the car on the way there. We were crying, and it's like, it's been really nice, but they can't operate anymore, and this is going to be it. So they told me that in the hospital. I stayed at 116 for the next 2 or 3 months. But when I was still in the hospital, Mary said, "If you don't make it," which you probably won't, and we accepted that, "I have to do something for myself." And she said, "Remember that guy from that movie from 2 or 3 years ago that came out, that What the Bleep?" And I went, "Which one?" She said, "Dr. Joe Dispenza." I went, "Oh, I love him. Yeah, that's right." And she said, "Well, he's got meditations I've started doing." And she said, "Would you be interested?" And I went, "Yeah." She went out and got me a new phone, earbuds. I'd sit at night with difficulty because I was so weak, and just listen to the meditations. And it was so great. They sent me home, "We're going to send you home," because, they can't do anything more with me. We figured it was to probably die. They injected me. Oh, they said, "If you don't die now, you'll be back in 5 years." And I said, "So I'm dead then, or I'm dead now?" And they said, "We can give you this heavy medication." And I said, "What does it do?" And the side effects are fatal brain swelling, suppressed immune system. You probably won't be able to go outside. You're like, what kind of life is that? All kinds of things. And I told them, they're not side effects, they're effects. If you take something and it does something, that's an effect. The doctor said, whatever you want to call it. And I said, "You know what? I got nothing to lose. I'm going to die now or in 5 years for sure. do it. So they hit me with it, and it got rid of the symptoms. And a month later, vomiting, the diarrhea, the whole bit. And it's a stricture. Think of Crohn's as a hose, and it leaks. It gets inflamed and it leaks, so the body attacks it, which makes it worse. So what they do is they go into this bad part of the hose, they cut here and here, take that out, put you together. Well, I've got the scarring there. That stays this small. So intestines before that are good, a little stricture, and intestines. So I had to really watch what I was eating. I started doing the meditations. I started putting on weight. The doctor said, I'm absolutely shocked. He said, I never thought you'd get past 116 again. I said, for the rest of my life? And he said, yeah. He said, what are you doing? Me being a smart ass, I said, meditating. And his jaw dropped. He said, what? I told him about Dr. Joe, and he's an Indian doctor from India, and he's got the physician's prayer. So I thought, I'll take a chance, and I told him about Dr. Joe and all that, and he said, I'm going to check him out. He said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I said, in a couple weeks, I'm going to be going to an event that he did. I called it a healing event just to keep it short with him. And but my diarrhea was so severe. My wife, she'll kill me for saying this. I was wearing diapers. You know, I'd go out on shoots and do videography and all that. I was going out on shoots. I'm on sailboats. I got diarrhea. I'm blasting. I'm wetting myself. I'm all that kind of stuff. And up to 2 weeks ago, it went away for a month or two, and then came back with a vengeance. And that's when I really started doing the meditations. And so 2 weeks ago, I told Carla, I didn't think I'd be able to make this event. And when I was doing it, my wife said, you realize you were flushing. I realized I was flushing. And it's like, there's something to this. And being off for so long, I have to say, I couldn't afford to go. Mary, paid to go. And we just couldn't afford for me to go. We couldn't afford for her to go. But it's like, she's not missing this. This is her chance if I'm not around. So anyway, the Give to Give, we were told about through someone that Mary met. And we applied, had to do 30 years of medical and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, they graciously, and I'm so grateful, got me here. So I'm here, and it's changed my life. I've had a healing. I feel as they say, though, that drug will take care of the symptoms. Yeah, they're still there. When you get a swimmer's cramp and you walk around going, whoa, that's my everyday. Since I've been here and doing the meditations, it's a little pinch. I can tell you right now, I don't have anything. It's just, I'm rolling my stomach. I've never been able to do one sit-up because I'd be pukey for 2 or 3 days. And the healing was so phenomenal. They said, you should have seen your stomach. It was out to here, and it rolled right up into your chest. I've never been able to do that for decades. And when they told me that, I said, I got to try this. And I was rolling my stomach. I thought, if I'm going to do it anywhere, I'll do it here. I'll be in good hands. And I was rolling my stomach like crazy. The next day, I was a healer. And when I was doing the healing, someone flipped a little card to me, Sacred Heart card, Mother Mary in blue. I'm a recovering Catholic, I say, because Dad would sit drunk going, go to church, you'll do good, and it's like, yeah, right, so I didn't see a lot in the faith, so when I was about to do the healing, someone beside me, just as clear as I'm looking at you folks, flipped me a card and said, here, you're going to need this. And I recognized the card. When he died, they gave me his wallet, and I was going to get rid of it, burn it, and I lost it, and it was in a drawer. A few months ago, I found it, and I thought, I looked into the eyes of the devil all my life, and I thought, what would the devil have in his wallet? And I opened it up, and it was that card. So when he flipped it to me, it was a he, said, here, you're going to need this. I was about to say thank you, and I went, no, don't mess with me. And I turned, it was my dad. And I honestly looked at him, and I said, thank you, and swallowed hard and went, I forgive you. That was the biggest relief of my entire life. I've been 30 years, I'm 65, I've been most of those trying to forgive him. I've never been able to. It's like, damn him, I'm not giving him that. I just turned and went, you're forgiven. He bowed, and off he went. And it was the biggest healing. It was absolutely incredible. I wouldn't be sitting here without Dr. Joe's formula. He calls it a formula, and it really is. I'm inquisitive. I like to tinker, know how things work and why things work. I've been into energy all my life, and he's put it all together. And it is a formula, and you can work it. And I got to honestly say, I worked it before I got here, and I noticed an improvement. And since I've been here, every day has been, I've been able to breathe, and I've been able to find myself. And without his work, it's like, I've tried all kinds of stuff, believe me. And it's, yeah, it kind of works for a little while, it doesn't. But with his whole program, his whole thing, it's like, I'm here because of him. It's like, my plan A, suicide, it's way down the line. I was joking with our team leader, Carla. I said, this is my plan A, and I'm really glad it's working out. And I am. I can't believe I was even thinking that way before, and it's just, that was an old self. And when I told that story, I got to tell you, I told it without emotion. So as he says, tell your story without emotion, and it's wisdom. So for me, it was wisdom, and that's why I could turn to my dad and go, you're forgiven. After all this time, it was so easy. So thank you, Joe. I got to tell everyone out there, I love every single one of you. And it's just, find out about it if you don't know about it. If you do know about it, do the work. It works.